Hello, my name is Gabe Vandyberg. Over the past couple of weeks, we've been working on this project and sort of figuring out what we want to do for the rest of our life. And I'm choosing to major in wildlife biology to become a wildlife biologist. A lot of people have asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up. Did I want to be a ballerina, or a singer, or a dancer? Clearly, none of those have worked out for me. I love working with animals, and I love traveling. Every year, my family and I go on a trip. Wildlife biology gives me this option of being able to play with animals all day, and to travel. So no job is going to be the same. It was kind of nice to know that ever since I was like 5 years old, I've known what I wanted to do. I've always wanted to work with animals. Simple. Except not so much. When I looked into it when I got older, there were so many options that I didn't even think about when I was younger. As I looked around, I found wildlife biology. This class actually helped me realize what I wanted to do. A wildlife biologist preserves animals and their habitats. Basically, you get to help animals, and you get to be outdoors. Some duties and... Stop. Some of the locations around here are very limited. If you wanted to, oh my god, it's raining with the sun out. Little ADD. Anyway, or ADHD, whatever. Some locations around here are like the wild, bleh. Some locations around here are like the Fish and Wildlife A job around here is kind of like the Fish and Wildlife, because we're land of 10,000 lakes. What else are you going to get around here? Clearly, not much. There's also there's a lot of state parks around Minnesota, and you could always become part of the DNR, which is people who go out and the DNR is basically someone that goes out with either a group of people or by yourself, and you're just making sure everyone's abiding by the different animal laws. The hours, depending on what you do, you could spend a normal 8 hours a day, or you could be sleeping in a cave next to a bear for 2 months. It kind of depends on what kind of job you go into. For me, it's more of the sleeping in a cave with a bear for 2 months. Okay. Some tools and equipment start off by a GPS. That is probably the number one thing for me anyway, because I have a tendency to get lost easily. And I don't know about you, but that's like top priority to me. There's these things called pooters. If you go into studying more of bugs, you will use a pooter, which is basically like a vacuum you attach to your mouth, and you blow into it, I think, and it acts like a vacuum and sucks up bugs. It's really neat. Some other things would be like a camera or a black light, because some bugs or animals you can see better with a black light. A laptop or a notebook paper, whatever you're really better at using to write down your data. There's also scales, so if you have to weigh something, or tape measures, or basically anything that you think you could use for like normal animal basic care, you'll need it. You must be fit. I will repeat that. You must be fit. If you are not fit, then you are not fit for the job, because if you can't run, you probably will get eaten. Just saying. Or attacked, or whatever. You just gotta make sure that you are able to run for your life if you need to, or else bring someone with and trip them so you get away. Physical hazards are, well, there's a lot. You can get bit, you could get scratched, you could get eaten by Bigfoot, you could... Eaten by Bigfoot? What's my mind? Ah! You could get bit, you could get scratched, you could get eaten by Bigfoot, you could be lost. There's so many hazards, and especially since you're working with animals, because there's a lot of uncertainty with wild animals for sure, because they're unpredictable. And unlike more domestic animals where you can kind of like no restraints, the wild doesn't have restraints. Guess what? You're gonna get dirty. You'll be sleeping in a cave for 2 months. You're gonna get dirty. And you have to also handle your odor, animals' odor, and just natural tree odor. I don't know if that's a bad thing. Sometimes you smell like a bad tree or something. That's disgusting. The noise, it could get really quiet. You might think that, you're working with animals, so you're going to be super noisy all the time. But in actuality, you'll be sitting away from the animals, at least the wild ones, and in your own little world almost. If you like being like in a calm little bubble, basically, this is definitely the job for you, because you can do that with your research team far away, because you don't want to scare the animals or have too much interaction with them, because that actually might change how they feel. And that's also what wildlife biologists do. They collect data about how they act when we're around, and they also set up cameras and different stuff to like see how they act when we're not around. So basically, human interaction is a big deal with wild animals. Now on to interaction with others. You could be in a team of 5 people, or you could be by yourself, which I don't recommend, because if I get eaten by Bigfoot, I'd like someone else there to at least snap a picture or something. Also, you'll be working with the government, and if you're like DNR or your state government or representatives or whoever you actually, it depends on where you work, quote unquote, because it depends on where you work. It depends on who you work for. If you work for the state, then you'll probably talk to government representatives or PETA or any of those animal lover groups, whatever, whoever makes the laws for animals, basically. This job is very competitive. If you aren't ready to put yourself out there and go for the gold, basically, you're not ready to take on this kind of job. And honestly, I would try to find a different profession if I wasn't very headstrong and ready for it. Ooh, a little thing popped up. And so it's available here in Minnesota as a DNR or as a state park person or or else if you're working globally, you can work with all different kinds of animals. You could be working in Australia like I'd like to with some more exotic animals. The pay is pretty good. Way better than my almost minimum wage $8 an hour thing at Walgreens. You'll be making about $27, $28 an hour. And if you are sleeping out the side with bears, then you'll be making pretty good money. Because you don't just sleep in a tent and not get paid. The average for a wildlife biologist who has a degree, or at least a bachelor's degree and up, will be making about $58,000 a year. You can do the math. There are a lot of schools that actually offer... There aren't many schools in Minnesota that offer wildlife biology. I have been searching since I was a freshman, because I've known what I wanted to do. But I did come across, on our trip to Michigan, that Michigan State, in Flint, Michigan, has a wildlife biology major anyway, a wildlife biology major, and it's actually very nice. I checked it out, and I think I'm going there. And basically you need a 21 on your SAT or ACT, I don't remember which one it was. And you need, for Colorado State, it's also a 21. The fee is about... Since you're living here, if you live here in Minnesota, it'll be more expensive than if you actually lived in Michigan or if you actually live in Colorado. I found the ranging prices to be $32, yeah, $32, not $32,000 and up. There aren't very many special requirements for this job. Basically, you get your bachelor's degree, and that's like a main. If you want to be making $58,000 a year, you're going to want a degree, because you will not make that kind of money if you do not. If you want to advance more into the job, or get more skills, or get more money almost, or get more money even, you can go back to school and get a doctorate or a master's. I don't believe they have a master's at Michigan, but they definitely have it at Colorado. The personal benefits for me would be I get to travel, and I get to Personal benefits for me would be basically living my childhood dream. And I get to work with animals and travel, and I get to be outside. I love being outside. I can't stand it in here. Like, this video is taking way too long. And I get to experience new places and meet new people, and even how people interact with the animals around the world. Some disadvantages would be probably getting attacked by a tiger shark that lives in a tree. That's so bad. Where's my head? Some disadvantages would be getting lost or getting hurt, or if you're alone, getting extremely hurt. Like this guy in a show, he like gets his arm stuck in a wall or something in a rock, and he has to like cut off his own arm. Oh, it's so gross. Anyway, some advancements in this job are... An advancement in this career would be leading your own team. You get a lot of responsibilities if you are more experienced in your job. If you get more experience in your job, and people will really look up to you. So leading your own team is probably the biggest accomplishment, I would think anyway. So I hope you enjoyed my video on wildlife biology. I hope that this was informational, and now you know what a wildlife biologist is. They preserve the animals. Thanks for watching.